We're going to deep dive into AI stocks. I'm going to review 3 AI stocks that I read a recent analyst report that said avoid these stocks at all costs. I'm going to give you guys some technicals on an AI penny stock, and of course we're going to cover the king of AI stocks, the chip maker Nvidia. This is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for hitting the like, throw a heart, say hi in the comments. I'm going to timestamp this video because I've got a lot of interesting content and I want to make sure that I cover all of it. It might be a little bit of a longer video. We'll see. Let's first start off with some bearish news on Sound. So basically, some insiders over at Sound have been selling. Specifically, SoundHound AI insider sold shares worth $111,000 according to a recent SEC filing. Now, this 10% owner sold a chunk of his stock around September 15th at the low price of $2.13, and it's sent some people panicking. But when I dove deeper into this story, I found out it was just a mandatory tax withholding sell of RSU shares. You say, okay, Josh, what are RSU shares? These restricted stock units give employees interest in their employer's equity, but have no tangible value until they are vested. The RSUs are assigned a fair market value, an FMV, when they vest, which simply means that they often get sold at market price. Their restricted stock units are considered income once vested, and a portion of the shares is withheld to pay income taxes. And so this looks to me like it wasn't a planned sale on the part of an insider, but more of a scheduled sale with the purpose of covering income tax. So it really wasn't as bearish as some people have reported. Now, there's another bearish concern, and that's the short interest surrounding SoundHound. It's currently sitting at 15.37. If a stock is shorted by 10%, it's considered to have pessimistic sentiment. And if it's above 20%, it's considered very bearish sentiment. Well, you see that SoundHound is sitting at a little higher than 15%, which means that it's got some pretty bearish sentiment on the part of investors who are definitely intending to profit on its decline. But I want to point out something that works directly against those shorters, and that's actually a little bit of an older news story that came out during SoundHound's last earnings, which is that they really did quite well. SoundHound AI net loss almost halves as revenue surges in Q2, shares jump pre-market. So here's something I want to point out to you guys. The closer and closer we get to the next earnings statement, if these guys continue to do well, obviously, the shorts are going to have to cover, and they're going to be afraid to hold this closer and closer to earnings. But in other recent bullish news, August 17th, it came out that SoundHound delivers voice AI technology to Togg smart vehicles. And they integrated SoundHound to create an AI voice assistant in all of their new vehicles. This AI voice assistant is accessible through natural speech and can be used for giving commands to perform tasks, including playing music and locking doors. This seems like a perfect use for SoundHound. I would expect more of this type of integration, and the revenue coming from this has yet to be reflected in a quarterly earnings report. But of course, you know what we do on this channel. We're technical traders, and so the big question is, what do the technicals say? I'm going to share that in just a minute. Let me do a quick station break for the Moomoo investment app. If you need better trade tools and you are in the US, Australia, and Canada, you can sign up right now for a zero commission trade platform called Moomoo, where they're offering you free stock, up to 16 free stock for opening and funding your account. You can click on the link in the top pinned comment as well as the description of this video. You'll get all the details. I also want to shout out the Stock Squad Discord. That's a Patreon with myself, Stock Up with Larry Jones, Keenan Grace, and Stockmo. We're all giving trade alerts, technicals, and providing help to the folks in that Discord each and every day. Click on the link for the Discord, which is also in the top pinned comment, and come join the Stock Squad. I spent quite a bit of time going over the charts on Sound, and ultimately I'm going to give you guys my opinion of what I think and what I'm going to be doing with my trade, but let's just break it down slowly. Now, one of the first things I want to point out is that yesterday it went down 12 cents, but it went down on 49% lower volume, which is a bullish indicator. When the price is going one direction, but the momentum is going another, in this case, it created bullish divergence, and so that's positive for SoundHound. I see that right now, SoundHound is right beneath its current resistance at $1.27. I still see support below at $1.86. Ultimately, my target for SoundHound on this current move is a target of $3.05, which would be a 43% move up. Levels of resistance between where we're at and that target goal are $2.50 and $2.75. And in recent days, I got out of my lump sum trade at $2.48. And I warned everybody that if this fell beneath $2.35 that it would signal that we had lost momentum, and we were then going to go back and test the lower part of the range, which is what we're currently doing. So where is the lower part of the range and where can this ultimately go? I'm going to get to those questions, but before I do, let me quickly cover some candles, some interesting candles that we've gotten in the chart. One of them just 2 days ago, this last Friday, we got a hammer candle. That's a bullish candle. A hammer candle's got a long tail or a tall bottom wick. It basically signals bullishness. And right after that, we got a nice bullish candle. And then after that, we had an inside red candle. So what exactly is an inside red candle? Well, that's when the body of a candle is contained within the previous candle, and it means that the price is compressing. And when the price is compressing, here's what you need to know: that it continues to compress until it expands violently. It means that there is going to be a very strong move coming on sound. That move could be to the downside or to the upside. All that we know with what the candles are telling us right now is that the price is compressing. We can actually see, if we go back in time and we look at this in the Bollinger Bands, that price has been compressing all the way since July 27th. We're actually sitting at the exact same price as we were in July 27th. Ultimately, this is going to lead to a break one way or the other. Now, as we dig deeper and look for more clues into which direction this stock might go, we can go over to the RSI, which measures momentum, and we see that there is actually very strong bullish divergence on the RSI chart. But here's another important point. We have to take notice of the fact that in the RSI, we're in the lower half. That's below 50%, which means that we are in bear territory. It also means that when you're in bear territory, it means the trend is bearish. And so even though we have bullish divergence on the RSI, we're not out of bear territory yet, which means that the powerful move that I see coming in sound could also be to the downside. We do not have a confirmed uptrend on this stock just yet. So what's the game plan? Well, I can only give you guys my game plan, which is not a suggestion for you to buy, sell, or hold. When I got stopped out of my last position at $2.48, I entered into a daily purchase of around $40. Over the course of time, as it's dropped, I've increased that to $50. So right now, every day, I'm buying $50 of SoundHound, which is a slow accumulation. And the big picture view is that as long as this stays above $1.58, it's actually in an overall longer bull trend. And so yes, this could go all the way down to $1.58, which would be 1 penny above the recent local low, and it could still be in a bullish trend. As long as that recent local low wasn't broken, $1.58, 1 penny above, would be a higher low and would signal that the stock is going to go back up and possibly test the top of its range, which we know to be $5. We also know that there's a ton of analysts and investment firms that have a target price of between $5 and $7 for this stock. And as I said a moment ago, the price has largely been moving sideways ever since July 27th. And what that means, sideways moving price action, is a consolidation. And a consolidation is a time when you want to do some DCAing, which is what I've been doing. For those who are looking for strategic entries, let me give you guys some specifics. If it crosses beneath $2.03, I'm going to tell you that I'm quite sure that it will at least go down to $1.85. 203 is a critical support. And my big picture view is that I can always load up on this once I get a reversal signal and a move that this is going higher. We don't have that just yet, so I'm happy to be at a slow pace accumulation on sound. Now, if you're in sound and you're in at a higher price and you did not set your stop loss beneath $2.35, then you are only going to have the option to hold or accumulate between now and wherever the bottom gets set. I'm personally comfortable with the risk that I see in SoundHound. Okay, I'm going to give you guys some technicals on Nvidia, but before I do, there was an interesting analyst review of some top AI stocks. It was titled 3 AI Stocks to Avoid at Their Current Prices. I'm not going to give you guys technicals on these 3 AI stocks. I'm simply going to give you guys the case that they made in this article, which I think you'll find interesting. Right off the top, they were very bullish on the AI narrative overall, just not these 3. They pointed out that according to a recent study by Statista, the global AI market is forecasted to reach about 1.85 trillion by 2030, up from roughly 207 billion in 2023. We would see an AI market well closer to 2 trillion before we would have any sort of an AI bubble. But for these 3 stocks, it doesn't mean that there's not room for them to come down. What are these 3 stocks? Well, it's some of your guys' favorite AI stocks. It's Upstart, Palantir, and C3 AI. So let me break down their reasoning. So far, Upstart has pulled back 58% since August. Obviously, it's under some serious selling pressure. The reason why it did is because it had falling revenue. It lost 40% year over year the last time it reported earnings. They also gave soft forward guidance, and the bottom line is that Upstart was considered by the analysts simply overpriced. And then Palantir. Beloved Palantir. Now, I will tell you guys that I did look into the charts a little bit with Palantir and the next one, and I do feel they've come down quite a bit, and I will try to give you guys some fresh technicals the next time I cover these. But here's what they had to say about Palantir. They pointed out that it was 23% down since August, which isn't too bad, but it's been up quite a bit. The recent earnings, they said, were solid. That wasn't the problem. The problem was their forward PE, which was 68, which made them way overpriced. The sector median is only 22. And so the bottom line is they think that Palantir has simply run up too much so far. And so the analyst consensus rating for Palantir is a hold. They've given it a target price of $13.62. Then the third one, which I know a lot of you guys are going to be surprised, is C3AI. Now, C3AI has been an interesting play. I think the last time I covered it, I told everybody to put their stop loss at $38. It's come down quite a bit. It's fallen 35% in just the last month, but it's still up 143% year to date. Therein lies the problem. Again, earnings were positive, but the company isn't profitable. Their biggest problem is their cash burn. These guys are spending money too fast. That is C3AI's biggest problem. And the fear or the concern is that it absolutely will lead to dilution. And then that's going to have to be calculated into the stock. You guys have done this before. When they dilute the shares, then that price has got to be calculated in, which means the stock price is going to come down. You can't evaluate it at its current level. They also said that C3AI had an excessively rich valuation. They pointed out that the forward price to sales multiple of 10.42 was above the industry average of 2.63. You guys, that's huge. That's not a small difference. Smart money don't want them. And the risk is to the downside. Analyst consensus rating for C3AI is a hold, and the target price is $26. It seems right now to be sitting just barely above that, which it's getting very, very close to right now. All right, but let's get into a chart that I do want you guys to look at today, which is Nvidia's technicals. Now, this was a very hard chart to read. There came a moment in time when I was studying it that I got extremely bullish. But then I began to go into it deeper, and then I got a little scared and I got bearish. So this chart is absolutely giving both bearish and bullish signals. But of course, you guys know I'm going to give you guys the important price points that you have to watch. We get above it, we'll go bullish. We get beneath it, it's on its way to getting more bearish. What are those price points? Well, right now we finished up yesterday right beneath support at $435.70. Now, yesterday, the price fell 1% with a 22% decline in momentum, which is actually quite bullish. When it was falling, it wasn't falling very quickly, which meant that there wasn't a lot of selling pressure, even though it did come down in price. Now, critical support below is $415, but I'm kind of largely ignoring that price right now for a more important price point, which I see at roughly $420. I think that if Nvidia can close this week above $420, I think there's a very strong chance that it could go back and back test $460 in the short run. But I would also warn that if we can't hold $420 and we do come down and close beneath it, that absolutely puts us into the realm of a much sharper decline and a harder selling week ahead, which could ultimately bring us all the way back to $350. On this, I am slightly leaning bullish. I'm not convinced that Nvidia is ready to come down just yet. There's still some positive movement and some positive momentum in this play, but we're getting very, very close to a deciding line, and I think that 420 is the deciding line. But let's take a quick peek at the RSI for Nvidia, and I will point out both on the daily and the weekly, it's actually showing extreme bearish divergence, which means that in the big picture view, the momentum to the upside has absolutely been cooling off for months. The uptrade is absolutely coming to a crawl. And so I'll leave you guys with this thought as you're watching that 420 price point. Be careful, use a stop loss. Don't be DCAing above 420. If this thing crosses below, this is going to come all the way back to $350. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Are you guys bullish on these stocks? Do you think the analysts are wrong regarding Upstart, C3AI, and Palantir? Tell me in the comments section. Let me know. Let me know which AI stock you would love for me to cover in more depth in the days ahead. And I can just hear it right now. It's APLD. So before I close out this video, guys, I'm doing the exact same thing with APLD. I put my stop loss in on APLD at $9.10. When it came down below $6.50, I began to nibble. When we didn't bounce off $5.59, that was the last critical level, I told you guys that we were going to test the very lows of APLD. I increased my daily buy on APLD. I feel the same way about APLD as I do about Sound. I think it's going to have a resurgence in the days ahead, and I'm slowly accumulating the lower part of the range. That's what I'm doing with APLD and Sound. Thanks again for joining me. Hit that like, hit the subscribe if you enjoyed these technicals and you want to get the next update. We'll see you guys soon. Peace and blessings. Take care.